Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Martyrs and wounded in series of raids on the Gaza Strip, and the World Food Programme warns of the risk of acute hunger and malnutrition. Myanmar and Thailand declare state of emergency after 7.9 magnitude earthquake hits areas. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The main committee for citing the crescent of Shawwal for the Hijri year 1446 will meet tomorrow. The Ministry of Endowment and Religious Affairs called on citizens and residents to observe the crescent moon in cooperation with the field teams in the wilayats, or to contact the subcommittees in the offices of Their Excellencies the Governors. The meeting will be presided over by His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Saeed Al-Ma'mari, Minister of Endowment and Religious Affairs. The Sultanate of Oman's embassy in Bangkok confirmed that it's closely monitoring the developments of the situation and the Thai authorities' statements regarding Myanmar's earthquake and its effect on Thailand. The embassy stated that currently there is no record of any injury among Omani citizens in the Kingdom of Thailand. The embassy called on Omani citizens to exercise caution, adhere to the instructions of local authorities, and call the emergency number if they need any assistance or inquiries. A powerful 7.9 magnitude earthquake struck central Myanmar today, killing at least 10 people and causing significant damage to a number of buildings and roads in the Southeast Asian country. The quake hit at a depth of 30 kilometers and multiple structures in Myanmar's Mandalay region collapsed, while several roads linking to the largest city of Yangon were also damaged or blocked, causing major transport disruption. Myanmar's National Disaster Management Committee has declared a state of emergency across 6 regions in the country following the disaster. A 30-story tall building, which was under construction in the Thai capital, collapsed, resulting in at least 1 death and leaving 43 others missing, with fears that the death toll could rise. More than 14 Palestinians, including women and children, were killed in an Israeli airstrike targeting a house in the Zaytun neighborhood southeast of Gaza City. The Palestinian Ministry of Health stated that Israeli drones targeted a gathering of Palestinians in the town of Al-Shawkat east of Rafah, killing several Palestinians. Meanwhile, the Israeli occupation army blew up residential buildings in the Tel al-Sultan neighborhood west of Rafah. Meanwhile, the World Food Programme warned that thousands of Gaza residents are once again facing the risk of acute hunger and malnutrition as food stocks in the Strip dwindle and the borders are closed to aid. The World Food Programme and its partners have not been able to bring new food supplies into Gaza for more than 3 weeks, noting that the closure of border crossings prevents the entry of any humanitarian or commercial goods. The World Food Programme indicated that it needs funding amounting to $265 million over the next 6 months to support life-saving operations that will help 1.5 million people in Gaza and the West Bank. Israel launched an attack on the Lebanese capital Beirut for the first time since a ceasefire ended fighting between Israeli forces and Hezbollah in November. Chaos engulfed the southern suburbs of Beirut as Lebanese tried to flee the area, and a large smoke cloud rose over the city following the strike. The military said it carried out the strike after rockets were fired at Israel from Lebanon earlier in the morning. Meanwhile, Hezbollah denied firing the rockets at northern Israel and accused Israel of seeking a pretext to continue attacking Lebanon. The ceasefire took hold on November 27, 2024, between Israel and the Hezbollah, although Israel has struck targets in southern Lebanon almost daily since then. A White House spokesperson said that Ukraine's system of government is determined by its constitution and its people, following Russian President Vladimir Putin's statement regarding the formation of an interim administration in Ukraine. Putin had suggested the possibility of establishing an external administration in Ukraine that would allow for new elections and the signing of major agreements aimed at reaching a settlement in the war, indicating that this administration might be under the supervision of the United States, the United Nations, and European countries. The Russian president stated that Moscow is ready to cooperate with many countries to end the Russian-Ukrainian war. Russia yesterday accused Ukraine of attacking its energy infrastructure in the past 2 days, despite a 30-day pause on strikes against each other's energy facilities. The two sides agreed to early this week. The Russian Ministry of Defense claimed that Ukraine's launched strikes on energy facilities in Russia's Bryansk and Kursk regions on Wednesday and Thursday. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported on the same day that during the past 24 hours, its forces had struck Ukrainian military airport facilities, production facilities of defense industry companies, and drone assembly workshops. The ministry also said that the Russian Air Defense Forces shot down a Ukrainian MiG-29 fighter jet and over 100 drones while intercepting several aerial bombs and rockets. Wildfires burning for a week in South Korea's southeast region have left devastation in their wake. The blazes, which have killed 28 people and razed vast swaths of land, were 85% contained as of today morning. Authorities were mobilizing about 9,000 people, 125 helicopters, and hundreds of other vehicles to battle the wildfires, the government's disaster response center said. The wildfire have burned over 47,000 hectares of land, forced more than 30,000 people to flee their homes, and injured 37 others since last Friday. Officials said today that 8,000 residents remained at temporary shelters. The fires have been driven by strong winds and dry weather. The final days of Ramadan, Zanzibar glows with faith and beauty. From the lively alleys of Stone Town to mosques filled with voices reciting Quran, the island reflects a sacred harmony where tradition, unity, and spiritual devotion come alive.
Zanzibar rises like a floating gem in the Indian Ocean. The waterfronts of Malindi and the charm of Forodhani reflect a timeless beauty where history and nature blend in perfect harmony. As Ramadan nears its end, the island is wrapped in a deep spiritual atmosphere. While the Quran is recited year-round, Ramadan brings renewed energy and devotion. From homes to mosques, the melodious voices of reciters echo across Zanzibar. As the sun sets, the community readies for iftar. Many rush to the mosques for Maghrib prayer and to break their fast. Returning again for Isha and Taraweeh, the mosques overflow, testifying to the depth of faith across the island.
Welcome to Zanzibar Island. Here in Zanzibar, we prepare early to welcome the sacred month of Ramadan, joining Muslims worldwide in devotion. We strive to fulfill its duties and pray to Allah to accept our fasting.
Zanzibar's historical ties with Oman remain strong, evident in its language, customs, and social gatherings. In the alleys of Stone Town's Lebanese street, people of Omani and Yemeni roots and native Zanzibari gather after Taraweeh. They share Arabic coffee, dates, and warm conversation, often with children. A scene that captures the essence of Ramadan's spirit of unity. Meanwhile, the markets of Zanzibar are alive with movement. From narrow alleys to main streets, people walk, ride bicycles, or cruise on motorbikes, all in search of Eid essentials. The market becomes more than a place to shop. It's a social space filled with excitement, energy, and shared joy. Ramadan in Zanzibar is more than fasting. It's a living experience of faith, culture, and community, a month that fills both the streets and hearts with light. In the heart of Stone Town, Zanzibar's alleys come alive, markets buzzing, and people moving with purpose as Ramadan near its end. A beautiful blend of faith, culture, and celebration. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, I'm Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubi'i, reporting from Zanzibar, Tanzania.
This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Martyrs and wounded in series of raids on the Gaza Strip, and the World Food Programme warns of the risk of acute hunger and malnutrition. Myanmar and Thailand declare state of emergency after 7.9 magnitude earthquake hits areas. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's Ramadan Mubarak, and we hope you have an enjoyable weekend.